What is up, guys? Mick here. I just had a big conversation with another one of my YouTube subs and somebody I sub to. Um, Basically just talking about the company I worked for and all that. And, this video is going to be a little different than that series because I'm going to talk about the company as a whole instead of just the auto center. Um, you know, I was being all secretive about the company and stuff like that, but then, after after talking to him, he made the point to, told me not even to worry about it, just talk about it. He's kind of supported me. Actually mentioning the company by name. So, this whole video is going to be dedicated to how crappy of a company that Sears is. He gave me a lot of input into some things I didn't know financially about the company. And as to why they're doing so badly right now. My personal dealings with it, I saw how ridiculous some of the management can be. The egotism of some of those guys is ridiculous. I remember the district manager of the main store came to our store, which wasn't one of his stores, and asked one of the employees a question. When they answered it, he looked at her, and said, "Why are you talking to me?" And it was just like, that was the one time I did see my manager jump in and defend one of us, but that was one of the rare times. Also, the main store manager of the store I worked at, we had an issue, like I said in one of the other videos, about one of the doors wasn't locked up, which is serious. I was off that night. I wasn't even at the store that day. But every time I'd close with him, he'd stop by and he would ask me probably 5 times, and right after the other, he'd look at me and go, "The door locked?" "Yeah." I would reply, "Yes, sir." "Are you sure?" "Yeah." "Are you sure?" "Yeah." And then after him asking me that probably 4 or 5 times in a row, he goes, "Well, if it's not, I'm calling you and you're coming up here with me." And it's just things like that. It's almost egotistical, like I was saying. There are a lot of serious issues with the company. A lot of it goes up to upper management. I know for a fact that my side of the store that I worked in, we made more money than the main side a lot of days, and we weren't even pulling in that much money. But the thing with Sears these days, if you look at like Craftsman, they used to be an amazing tool company, you know what I mean? But since so much of that stuff was outsourced and stuff, you're not getting the best quality tools. The warranties, it's a lot harder to warranty one of their tools. You used to be able to go in, just hand them the tool, and they give you a brand new, and that was that. But now, it's a lot harder to get the warranty on the tools. And like I said, to go look at their clothing, it's it's pretty low quality for. Not saying all of it is, but a good bit of it is. And for the price you're paying, you can go to, and as much as I can't stand Walmart, you can go to Walmart and get better quality clothing for a cheaper price than that. And even with the washers, dryers, refrigerators, there are other stores to do it. You can get the same thing for cheaper. The problem is they raise prices and stuff. They're so high priced, but you don't get any better of a product for it. And their service has gone downhill so much, and that company, I definitely see a lot more than 150 of their stores closing here in the next year. I'd say, I'm going to guess they won't be a company within the next 5 years. They're going to go out of business or go bankrupt and do all that refinancing or whatever they do when they go bankrupt, But like I said before, most of the main management now, when I was working there, I met a lot of really cool managers, some really nice people who did care about the customer. But for every one of those, you probably had 2 or 3 managers who were there just so they could better their career, make more money, and pretty much just crap on the customer. My own personal manager when I was there, the customers who really deserved to get a break on something because something bad happened, they never got it. But the people who didn't deserve it and come in and freak out, act like an idiot and stuff, he would give them discounts, breaks on things like that, just so he didn't have to deal with it. And, that's a big example of it. My manager basically just sat in his office all day on his laptop or on his work computer and got irritated when you brought a problem to him. So, that's one of the major problems in the store. There was a main line. I don't know if he was assistant manager or what he was, assistant main store manager. But every time you had a problem, if you went to him, he would just freak out on you for bothering him. I know it over the summer, it was probably 80, 90 degrees, humid as hell, and he wanted us to close the shop doors just so the air conditioning wouldn't go out the door when we had when somebody go between the shop and the store. Which that was ridiculous, and we straight up told him no, we weren't we weren't closing the shop doors because they wouldn't get any air at all in there. And it's just crazy things like that. And in the winter, the shop's freezing because he won't let them touch the heat. If anything breaks in the shop, it took so long to get anything replaced. I mean, hell, we were always running out of stuff because our manager wasn't even ordering the stuff we needed. There were probably 2 weeks straight sometimes when we weren't putting seat covers in the car because we had none. I was using the garbage bags, tire bags, to put stuff on the seats so they didn't get messed up. And there's a lot of issues with that company. I mean, I don't even, it's probably like that for every corporation. I'm not going to say it's only like that with Sears, but there were so many issues with that place that it was ridiculous. They were so worried about the small things, the credit cards, Sears card, they got 25% interest on that. And I went in one time to buy a watch, and the lady tried signing me up for 2 different credit cards. A family member of mine went in. The lady signed her up for one without even asking. She was trying to get her to fill out all this information. And I've never been to another store where you get asked like 15 times, sign up for 15 different things, put in all this information. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. That's a bunch of the problems with that company. I mean, if I go in Walmart, they aren't harassing me to sign up for credit cards or anything like that. I know that was the big thing they were pushing when I was there. Nobody wants them with that 25% interest. I mean, it's ridiculous. Just a huge lack of customer service and all that good stuff. And I remember I worked Thanksgiving and the door was locked to the office. I couldn't get anything. I couldn't open the shop doors, anything, without the keys that were locked in this office in the safe. And I called over to the main store and told them, because my manager never gave me a key. He knew I was opening, but he never gave me a key, and nobody even realized until I opened. And I called over to the assistant main store manager who was working Thanksgiving morning. I said, hey, I don't have keys to get in the office. I never got a set. And all he did was told me I better get the damn door open. So I ended up having to go get I had to jimmy the door just to get into this little office so I could get the keys to open up everything. I mean, it was that ridiculous. And like when our side would close, it would be we closed at 9. My store, we were a separate store than the main store. But you would stand there until the main side allowed you to leave. So every night I closed, I stood there now, there was one manager who let me go immediately when I was done because he knew how we ran things. We had to close up at a certain time because of our systems and all that. But, there was the main side. And most of the managers, or the 2 main managers over there, make us stand there 15, 20 minutes unpaid. Which, if I would have been smart, I should have went to the labor board over that one. Because once our computer systems, once we have to shut them down, which we have to do every night, we can't clock out. And we couldn't clock out on any other system in the store, except for our own, and they all had to be shut down. So, it's just, there's so many issues with management. If you had a good idea, it was ignored. Generally, I don't know how many of my subscribers are smart with cars or anything like that, but when you get a set of 2 new tires, you put them on the front in the winter. If you put the best tires on the front so you can actually have traction on the front tires if you're a front wheel drive car. Well, Sears' policy was to put the best tires on the back. So my manager took that to heart. One night we had a guy blow out a tire, 2 tires, and we only had one of them in stock, so my manager insisted upon having the dummy tire on the front of the vehicle and having the regular new tire on the back of it because he said it would increase their stability. But, in the winter I would never be driving around with a spare tire on the front and a good tire on the back. It's just a recipe for an accident, And stuff like this goes on all over the company, and that manager is now in charge of a huge store up in Pennsylvania, and it just drives me crazy, because honestly, the people who really deserve to be promoted, they didn't. They just basically got stuck in there, and the people who didn't deserve to be promoted, or the people who didn't have the mental capacity to be promoted, was promoted because they knew who to suck up to. And I know that's the same with every major company. There were some really good managers in that store before I'd worked there. There was a guy, they did their job, but they basically got in trouble because they weren't pushing people to sign up for credit cards and stuff. And even on the main side, there were people who worked there for years, and they were getting their hours cut because they weren't giving away enough of these free Shop Your Way rewards cards, which basically spam your email. I know a lot of people got upset because they got a lot more emails than I personally was told to tell the people. So, this is just an example. I'm not quite sure how long I've rambled on for, but, it's going on all over. And like I said, I'm not saying all management was like that at all, because, there were some really good guys. When I went to training, the trainer was a really nice guy. I had to go to a store one day to help clean it up because, the big head boss was coming in, and they needed the store cleaned up, and I was sent to go up there on my day off, which I didn't get paid for at all, which I am going to go to the labor board about not getting paid for a lot of things. I missed out. I'm short right now. They owe me $600, so I think the best way to do it is just go to the labor board and talk to them and see what they think. But that's besides the point. But there were some really good managers up there who really did care about the customer. But like I said, for every one or two of those guys, you had a lot more that were just idiots. So, I personally, I'm never going to shop from the company again, because there's nothing I can't get there for cheaper somewhere else with better quality. But I'm trying not to make this too long, so I'm going to end this here. Questions and comments are welcome. And I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks.